candidates speak to us. And why don't we start with one of our favorite sons, Senator Presnell. Would you talk with us? Come up here, talk into the camera. This is Mr. Bernier here and his lovely wife Maria. And he has really put the word out for us on TV. So come up here and say what you need to say. It'll get out.
Okay. Really didn't have a speech prepared tonight, but it is an honor to be here in Madison County with all you folks and to see this good number out. It's always good to be with a group of Republicans, good conservative Republicans, good mountain folks. And, you know, as I think about our governor, and I've mentioned this before, it would certainly be good for me to be able to sit in the North Carolina Senate, to be able to raise my hand and be recognized by the governor and tell him a need that we have here in Madison County. And I certainly want to tell him that. I have never met Pat before, but I was looking forward to meeting him, and I've talked to several people here tonight, and they said that they had not met him. So we're looking forward to meeting him and hearing his concerns for the state of North Carolina. I think we have one of the greatest states anywhere. You know, it's predicted, I believe by 2030, that North Carolina will be the 7th largest state. That people are finding out, and people would like to move. They know what we have here in these mountains. And we need a governor who recognizes, and we need a governor and a House and Senate who recognizes and realizes some of our needs here in western North Carolina and Madison County. Again, it's a privilege to be with you. I served for 12 years as chairman of the county commissioners in Yancey County. Served 2 years in the North Carolina Senate representing you folks, and it's always be an honor for me to go back in November and let Mr. Joe Samqueen and let him keep his well meter out in Haywood County on his own well and leave ours alone. I know we have county commissioners here and other elected officials that will have some time, and I want to be able to let them speak, and we look forward to seeing them. Their spouses mean a lot in a campaign. I know my wife has went through a lot. You remember seeing her on television, certainly taking up for a granddad, and I appreciate that. And we always they just do mean so much to us in our campaign, and Michelle really works hard for me, and I appreciate her too. By the way, she has, I believe, Michelle, do you have some tickets? She did a painting for me, and I believe you all might, some of y'all may have seen that. It's an oil painting with the American flag and in a greenery. I'm sure you'll just have to see it. Some of y'all saw it, but it is an oil painting, and we'll be selling tickets on that oil painting and drawing it election night. If they're $10, and that will certainly help us in our campaign. And again, I'll mention my opponent. He has deep pockets. I believe he owes his own campaign over $800,000 right now. I'm sure he's going to put more money. They're going to have a lot of money to spend against us. But you know, money's not everything. It's you folks that go out, and it's people like y'all that can talk to your neighbors and the North Carolina Senate. Thank you a lot, and we'll talk again.
While we're waiting, let me introduce a couple of other people from Buncombe County. We have Dr. Timothy Johnson over here. He is over in this corner. We have Don Yelton, and he is a winner up in Buncombe County. He's one of our commissioners up there now. So appreciate it. go too far and get cut off here, Dwight Smathers, would you come up here? You're on the stump. You need to talk. This is going to go out through the county, and you'll be able to get your message out this way.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. I'm like Keith, I was not prepared to make an address, or I'd work some more on my hair. Got it fixed up. But I do appreciate an opportunity to just say a few words. And while Richard's running this camera, if you don't believe this is a conservative place, I eat at this restaurant, and the sign over the restroom is true. If you want to go back there, it costs you 10 cents. That's a pretty conservative community. Thank you, Greenwood and Lillian, for getting this together. We appreciate people coming from all parts of the county to be with Pat McCrory today. And I want to encourage you to keep the faith, look at the enthusiasm that's around right now. We appreciate Dr. Johnson and Don coming over and visiting with us here. We've got Elizabeth Dole is going to be in the neighborhood next weekend. You'll hear some more about this, and all these things kind of creep up on us and happen quickly. But come out, get excited about the race. We remember what 2006 felt like the morning after the election. And this year in 2008, instead of wiping tears, we want to be having the party all the way through the morning. And we can do that. My good friend Herbert Buckner just made a trip to Texas. And he and his wife casually observed the rear end stickers on cars. Herbert's like me, a slow driver. They saw one Obama sticker, and that was in Buncombe County when they left. And on the way there and back, Herbert, you said you saw 28 McCain stickers. And I'm predicting that's the way the race is going to go. We don't have anything to be ashamed of. We have a lot to be proud of. The legislature is closing out today, and the only thing I wish is instead of Keith Presnell being here with us, that he was down there watching them adjourn, and we're going to make that happen for you in the fall of the year, Keith. We thank you for being with us. Thank you, Ms. Ed.
Dwight is the watchdog of Madison County. He's kind of like, yes, yeah, I heard that. So he's really to be commended for what he's doing down in our county. We hope to get another one that down there as soon as the election comes along. I think we can get him down there, actually. Yes?
Please say something about the celebration tomorrow that you're involved in.
Oh, yeah, all right. Thank you. Tomorrow's the 100th anniversary of the courthouse, and a lot of us in here have been working on trying to celebrate the courthouse. It will start from 10 o'clock in the morning and work till 4 in the afternoon. We'll have people coming in, we'll have plays that will be put on by students, we'll have music, we'll have some well-named musicians that are going to be there in the afternoon, I believe, and in the morning. We'll break for lunch. Marshall is kind of opening up the doors for people to come and eat. And at the beginning, let me say, Judge Baker he's got a special decree from the Supreme Court to hold a special session of court. It will open when he opens the court that morning around 10 o'clock. He will close it at 4 o'clock that evening after the round table. So it's going to be quite something. So you need to come down and take a look and see what's going on. Doctor, did I leave anything out?
No, you did all right.
All right, thank you. But anyway, I'll put another plug into that. That's great. And Dr. Morgan is the key person for Pittenger, Lieutenant Governor Pittenger. And so if you need a sign or if you need a brochure or something of that nature, get with Dr. Morgan over here and he will help you again for that. Do we have any other candidates here that I need to call on?
Dr. Johnson is a delegate to the National Convention. The lady in Polk County is also running out one, so they're through. This is my last.
Do you two want to speak just for a second here?
I want to
Come up here, if you would, please.
First of all, thank you very much for an opportunity to come visit. I live in Weaverville, so you all are very much so my next door neighbors. And I want to invite you to a couple of events, because I know oftentimes we probably don't do the best job when it comes down to party chairs have always extended an invitation to our neighbors. We've got some things that are happening in the near future. Judge Robert Edmonds will be coming to the Buncombe County campaign headquarters at 46 Haywood next Tuesday from 4 to 5:30. We would love for you all, if you would like, to come down and meet with him if you haven't met him, or just to bring greetings to him, to let him know that you are supporting him. From there, we will actually be supporting one of our county commissioner candidates, Ron McKee, at the McCrory Field. And again, you're more than welcome and invited to participate in that. I know some people enjoy going to the Asheville tourist games. But more important is next Saturday. What I've done since being the chairman in March is I've tried to make us more family-oriented, more friendly. You know, oftentimes when you see Republicans, people perceive us as being a stiff group that doesn't have any sense of humor, doesn't believe in family value, doesn't really care about people. And next Saturday on the 26th, we will be having the chairman's family barbecue that will be taking place at Lake Louise. So that's close to you, right? That's right there in Weaverville. And I would just hope that you all will take time to think about that. If you have time between seeing Senator Dole, we know that she's going to be here at that same time. But if you're scheduled for this, please consider coming down to Lake Louise and just fellowshipping with fellow Republicans in the community, as well as with the candidates from this area. I know Carl Mumpire is going to be out here tomorrow, but we'll have some other candidates as well as statewide candidates. And we'd love to have you guys participate with us. We really believe that, and I believe this, that in order for us to be successful as Republicans, we've got to do more things together. Does that make sense? And I think people have to realize that it's okay for us to support each other regardless of what we call boundary lines of counties. We're in the 11th district together. When Carl Mumpire gets elected to Congress, he's going to be our congressman. And that means that we all have to be supportive and be one family. So I think this is the right time for us to come together. When Senator McCain becomes our president, he will be our president. When Elizabeth Dole gets reelected, she will continue to be our senator. So I believe that's the one thing that we don't necessarily do a good job of coming across county lines and really doing that fellowshipping and sharing things. And there's a lot more activities that are happening out of Buncombe County, but always know that you're welcome to come to any event that we have. And I'll always extend a branch to Greenwood and put some people on our mailing list so you'll know what those things are. Because I know what our candidates, sometimes they don't have time to try to get to all the counties as hard as they try to reach out to all 100 counties. And when they get close, they feel, well, I've gotten as far as I can, and I hope somebody will think about that. So just know that we actually have the man of the hour that's sneaking in right now. So I'm going to shut up and let Greenwood do his thing. Because you guys need to talk to the mayor. Why don't y'all stand up and give Mayor Pat McCrory, the next governor of North Carolina, a round of applause.
We have a couple people running.
He's the only other guy in a tie, except for one other.
You know, Dr. Johnson here, he's the chair of Buncombe County.
Absolutely. I've said it many times.
And Dwight Smathers, if you'll hold up your hand, please. He's our county commissioner here. Dwight. He's running again. We need him badly.
Congratulations, Dwight.
And
I don't
over...
know if your wife feels the same way, but...
somebody that both of you are going to get real friendly. This is our former Senator Keith Presnell from Yancey County.
Keith, great seeing you, Honorable. Good seeing you, sir.
And Dr. Joe Morgan, and we're all just in here, and we've had a good time. So it's your time to talk, sir, and we're happy that you're here.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Can you hear me? Oh, no, not at all. Let me first apologize. I didn't realize we were late. I've been touring a company right down the street and seeing firsthand a wonderful company where a man from Hungary migrated to the United States in 1972 when he was 15 years old. His dad snuck over into Germany through Czechoslovakia, I believe, And now he is a wonderful company right down the street. And you know what he just told me? It was a fascinating story. He told me that his product was too cheap to sell overseas. So he raised the price, and now business is booming because when he raised the price, which he didn't need to, they said, oh, the product must be good. But his exports are incredible, and he's beaten his competitors in China right down the street here. And I think that's a compliment not only to him, but to his labor right here in this county. So y'all need to give him a round of applause. He's just a fascinating story. And the reason I tell you that story is I'm convinced that a governor has to understand that the economy is number one. And then the economy cannot survive, whether it's in a county or city or a state or a nation, unless we continue to make a product. If we think we can only survive on the service industry, we will not have a good economy down the road. And I'm going to be a governor who firmly believes that I have to go out and seek jobs. I have to go out and find jobs and have a strategy to keep and retain jobs in every county in North Carolina. And I want to let you know right now, when elected, you're going to see me again. You're not just going to see me at election time like we've often seen the current governor or lieutenant governor for the past 8 years, or have you seen them at all? I'm getting that response all over the state. And that's a sad commentary, because a leader doesn't learn anything just sitting in the office. A leader, even a leader of a party, has to get out and see what's happening. The leader of the business that I just saw, he says he doesn't sit in his office. He goes out and sees what's happening in the marketplace to anticipate what products he needs to sell down the road. And that's what I plan to do as governor. One thing I plan to do is change the culture of arrogance in Raleigh, North Carolina. Not the city of Raleigh, the state capital of Raleigh. It's been a culture which has been inaccessible. It's been a culture which has been invisible. It's been a culture which has been corrupt. It's been a culture which has bad customer service. If you've ever worked with a DOT, just trying to get a sign from the bureaucracy of the DOT is very hard. The state representative knows this. They're not even talking with each other, and they're all in the same party right now in Raleigh. But this culture is unacceptable. And I want to change this culture of corruption, this culture of inaccessibility, and this culture of a lack of customer service. And I want to get a culture in which the legislators and the governor get out among the people. And that's the type of mayor I've been for the past 12 years. Now, I want to let you know that many of you supported some of my opponents in a great Republican primary. Fred Smith, Bob Orr, and Bill Graham were three outstanding individuals. And we are good friends. And in fact, Fred Smith and I are probably talking to each other at least now once a week. We came together the day after the primary, and we came united, recognizing that Republicans have to be together in this general election if we plan to win. And not only do we have to be together in this general election, we have to go out and seek the independents and Democratic vote to win. So if we think as Republicans that we can just talk to each other and win this election, we're wrong. We've got to go out among our neighborhoods and friends and colleagues in business and seek them and tell them what our platform is and get them to vote. Or we're going to have the same 8 years of the status quo that we have in Raleigh, North Carolina right now, and we've got to change that type of arrogance that we have. So I need your pledge to get out and seek the independent and Democratic votes and get Republicans out to vote. We've got to get the same enthusiasm that we see on the national news. They're in love with their national candidate on the national news. You know, it's Katie's and Tom Brokaw's favorite person running right now. We've got to get the same enthusiasm right now for state government leaders. And I plan to lead that effort. Now let me tell you what I just did in Asheville today. We just had two major speeches to all the editors of newspapers in North Carolina right down the street. Beverly Perdue did not want to participate in a debate this weekend in Asheville. She is not participating in any statewide television debate from here on out. and she's not participating in any debate in the western part of the state. She refused to participate in the state broadcasters' debate this coming weekend. And therefore, guess what the state broadcasters did? They canceled the debate. They should have allowed me to speak this weekend and have an empty chair next to me. But you know what they're afraid of? They're afraid of the status quo and the power in Raleigh. And this has been told to me. They're afraid of retribution. And that's a quid pro quo in reverse. That's against the law. But we did get to have a speech today. They brought us in separately. I went first, she went second. And let me tell you what I told the people today and the editors today. And believe me, they didn't like everything I told them. But I didn't back up one bit. I told them there are 4 things on people's minds that I'm traveling on throughout the state. First, they're tired of this culture that we have in state government. Second, I told them that they're tired of a politicized transportation system in which the roads are going where the powerful politicians just happen to live, not where the roads are needed. Third, I told them what I'm hearing is this, is that we have a broken criminal justice system in which sheriffs and police departments throughout this state, in both small towns and large cities alike, are rearresting the same people over and over again. And we also have an issue with illegal immigrants who are breaking further laws, and they're overwhelming our county jails. And the burden is just being transferred to the local sheriffs. I'm hearing that a lot right now. But the 4th thing I told them also was this, that we have an education system in the state of North Carolina right now in which there is not a connection between what is our education strategy and what is our labor needs. In fact, I firmly believe there's kind of a liberal elitism, academic elitism right now in high schools, in 2-year community colleges, and in our universities, which are kind of saying this to people. And I'm going to say something very politically incorrect. Do you mind if I say something politically incorrect? It's right on the camera, and I'm not embarrassed to say this. Not every child who graduates from high school needs or wants a 4-year college degree. This elitism right now in which they say, well, every student has to have a degree. No, we ought to help every student who wants a degree, but there are some very good jobs out there in which the labor market is looking for skilled workers. Workers who know how to fix air conditioning units, workers that can fix with incredible mechanical equipment that we just learned and saw up the street. Workers who know how to fix automobiles or your toilet. And they're high-paying jobs. You can talk to any company right now who's looking for welders, they can't find them. And welding is a very unique skill. I rode on an airplane recently with a guy from U.S. Steel. They're looking for welders right now, and they can't find them. And yet we have a 30% dropout rate, and we can't find welders. We look down at people who work with their hands. And this elitism has got to end because employers are looking for people who have skills right now. I'll tell you a brief story. I was putting down some wood floors in my house several years ago. Have any of you have that skill, be able to put down wood floors in a house? Man, I respect you. Because you put down these wood floors, and this guy was down on his hands and knees doing the hammering and nailing and measuring, and it's quite a skill. I don't know how they fit at the end. It's like a puzzle. But I found myself kind of being a little elitist. While he was down on his hands and knees, I was feeling sorry for this guy, and I kind of leaned toward him. And I said, "Listen, after you finish this, why don't I make you some lunch?" You know what I'm saying? Why don't I make you some lunch? And he said, "Mr. McCrory, first of all, I'm going to be finished long before lunch, and then I'm going to my house on Lake Norman and make my own lunch." Do you understand my point? He had a great skill, and he's a heck of a lot more, he has more talent than I have, and he has talent that's needed, and he can make a lot of money. And he lived in a lot bigger house than I do on a lot more expensive lot than I do. And I've got a 4-year liberal arts degree. Who cares? Ladies and gentlemen, if employers cannot find qualified labor, you will not be able to recruit employers to come to this county. We've got to reintroduce vocational trade education in our high schools, like it was back when I went to Jamestown, North Carolina, Ragsdale High School. Many members of my graduating class taught shop and mechanics and learned a trade. And then after high school, they went right across the street to Guilford Technical Institute. That's when we called it an institute instead of a community college. And then they learned a further trade, and they got good jobs, and the labor market needed them. And then others went off to college. Some of them then never found a job and went back to community college and then found a job after they learned a trade. But our education strategy in high schools, in our community colleges, and yes, in our universities. Our universities should be rewarded for graduating students that can get jobs in areas in which we have labor needs. Math and science teachers, mental health care workers, which we can't find right now. And that's part of the debacle that we have in Raleigh right now that Governor Easley implemented and then denied he implemented it. And then the third thing, we need technical people to return back to our economy. We need mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, chemical engineers, biotech, and we need mechanics and electricians. My opponent says, no, I want those mechanics to become mechanical engineers. And I want, well, who's going to be doing the mechanical work then? This is that elitism that I'm talking about. This is the strategy that I want to bring to North Carolina government. And then we build our economy. We help our schools. We help families. We help the infrastructure. And we help the next generation. Now, there's one other thing I said today, is that I believe the governors in the Southeast and throughout this nation can play a leadership role in solving the energy problem of this country. Let me tell you right now, I'm worried about the future of this country as long as we are dependent upon Nigeria, Venezuela, Russia, and Saudi Arabia for our oil. And if you think the gas prices are high now, you haven't seen nothing yet for the next generation if we don't start producing our own energy needs right here, not just the United States, but right here in North Carolina. You're doing it down the street. We've got mining right now going after our natural resources, some good jobs, which makes a lot of important material. Why aren't we drilling offshore? And I recommended strongly today the drilling of offshore for natural gas and for oil. We have to do it. My opponent today said she's 100% opposed to it. She also said, not on my watch. Well, let's hope it's not her watch after November. Because if it's her watch, the next generation is going to have candlelight and horse and buggy. In fact, at the end of my comments, I said, if you're against my conservation policies and my energy policy, you might as well turn off the light, cut off the air conditioner, and walk home.
That's a winning issue.
Thank you. I believe in it. Whether it's winning or not, I believe in it. We have to take care of ourselves. You know, in your own life, if you're dependent upon other people, that's a burden for the rest of your life. And I feel that way as a nation. And right now, Washington's paralyzed. And I think if I work with Governor Sanford in South Carolina, Governor Perdue, the Wright Perdue in Georgia, and Haley Barbour in Mississippi, we could solve this energy problem if we're willing to use our own natural resources of clean coal, nuclear, offshore natural gas, and implement conservation methods, which we have to do. What's that? It will create thousands of jobs. Not only that, but the state of North Carolina would get 35% of that revenue. You're talking hundreds upon millions of dollars, which will help pay for our schools, which will help preserve land, which will help renourish the beaches in the east, which will help create jobs right here in the west. And by the way, natural gas is very important to you come wintertime. And your prices are going to get too high for you to afford to heat your home, and I'm worried about this winter. Beverly Purdue says, well, wait a minute, we don't need to do that because it's not an immediate fix. We won't get the return for 30 years. Well, first of all, that's not true. You can do a natural gas facility and get it back in 6 years. But even if it is 30 years, why are you waiting? That's our children. Why are we waiting? I need your help. We can win this election. We are dead even in the polls right now. Dead even in the polls. She's 2% up in one poll, 1% in another. It's a 4%, 3% variance. She has spent $8 million in the primary. I spent just over $1 million, which is obscene. Anyway, I hate that. It's an incredible amount of money. But we've already changed politics in North Carolina. We showed that you don't have to run a 2-year campaign. We've shown that you can run a positive campaign. We've shown that a person who's not wealthy, which I'm not, I haven't lent myself any campaign money because I don't have the money. We've shown that I can take the hits and I can get right back up and fight back. We've changed North Carolina politics already. And now let's change it in this general election. I need your help. I need you to get out on the campaign trail and get the independent vote, get the Democrat vote, and get the Republicans out. Mr. Chairman, I'm honored with your leadership, by the way. You're doing a great job. You're fantastic. I can't wait to be on the ticket with him, underneath him, by the way. He's got a great political future. And you will have a governor when elected that you will see. Let me conclude by saying this. I used to be a basketball referee before I was in politics. I've been called every name in the book, guys. I can take it. Beverly Purdue, for the past 4 months, they've been following me around with a camera. They just left me 2 miles from here. This kid, 24, 25 years old, God knows how much they're paying him. It's got to be a little expensive. He's following me everywhere with the camera. So they're going to probably catch me saying something stupid, and you'll see it on a commercial. I can take it. I can take it. You've got a candidate who will debate, who will fight back. But it will be positive. Ronald Reagan was my role model. But I was a referee, and I've made the tough calls. I refereed Michael Jordan. Do you know I called traveling on Michael Jordan? Do you know why I called traveling on Michael Jordan? He traveled. He still says it was a horrible call. I saw him about 3 months ago. He's still arguing about it. He said, I never traveled. I said, you traveled all the time according to Naismith's rule. He said, Naismith's a Canadian. I need your help. You've got a candidate who will fight, who will work hard, who will be energized, who's going to travel throughout this state, who will not ignore you. But now I need you. I need you to fight for me and fight for this state. It comes down to that. I need your time. If I get the word out, we win. The polls are dead even. Her negatives are 15% higher than me. Her name ID is 15% higher than me. That means I've got time to move. 4 years ago, Pat Ballantyne. 4 years before that, Richard Vigneault. 4 years before that, Martin and Holzhauser. They were 20 to 25 points down at this time. We are dead even. We can win this. We're the change candidate. We're the outsiders, but you got an outsider with leadership experience and a little meat compared to the national candidate on the other ticket. I need your help. God bless each one of you.
Who's our next governor? Who is our next governor? Who is our next governor? All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Riddle. She's our county chairwoman in the Madison County here, and she and I are working together and putting together a county structure, and working with Madison County GOP chairman, Mr. Denny back there. We're combining our forces, and we're going to get yard signs to you, and bumper stickers, and some literature, and some other things like that. So get the vote out here in November.
And we've got some bumper stickers here, hopefully, that we give out here. Well, we love it. If you get a bumper sticker, put it on. I'm a conservative. I don't want that bumper sticker just put in a notebook or in your car. I want it on the car. It costs money. All right? I know the game with bumper stickers. I want it on the car if you take one. And I'll tell you, that's important to show that momentum. It's very, very important for me to have a bumper sticker on your car. That means a lot to me, personally. That's a commitment. I know y'all been waiting a long time. Thank y'all very much. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot.
Let me introduce a couple more people. Matt Wechtel, he's running for county commissioner back here. Lillian Wellick over here is vice chair of our county. Edney over there is our secretary, and Roberta Lewis, his husband is here. Ray Lewis, our former chairman.
She works for